three most popular type layouts. You're either gonna have a sofa bed in the back, you're gonna have a dinette area like this, or you're gonna have the platform bed. I'm Hunter Hanner. I'm one of the owners of BTR Outfitters. I know you guys are more used to seeing Brody doing these videos, but I wanted to talk a little bit today about our vans that we carry and some of why I've got good firsthand experience with that is me, my wife, and my 4 kids, we really enjoy the outdoors. We like going camping, and we like going camping in places that you can't necessarily get to with the normal RV. And so as our family has grown, kind of our camping rigs have changed, but we went down the rabbit hole about 3 years ago. We started trying to figure out what would be the best solution. Now we've got 4 kids. We want to still be able to get off the grid, go camp in the national forest and see some of the cool places in this country. And as we got looking, it was like, okay, we've got to be able to seat everybody. We've got to be able to sleep everybody getting there. We don't really want to take 2 vehicles. And a lot of times we've got kayaks that we like to kayak, or we like to mountain bike, and we like to backpack. And so a lot of times we're carrying a trailer with kayaks or bikes and that kind of stuff. And so as we got looking, it's like, man, I think a van would work because we can figure out where we can all sit, we can figure out where we all sleep, but then it also gives us the ability to hook up a trailer. We can haul all the toys and stuff we want to haul and get it there to have fun once we get to the campsite, but we still only have to take 1 vehicle. And with the big family, that's it gets complicated because a lot of times we're like, oh, we're gonna have to take 2 cars. We gotta take the pickup to put all the stuff in the back. And then we gotta take this and pull the camper with this rig. But the van has worked really well. We've loved it. And I wanna show you today, because some of the stuff that we had to go through is we were figuring out how do we lay out this van, because a van is a big purchase. So you wanna get it right when you're ordering your van, picking out your van. And the layout was important, some of the options were important, but I just want to go over some of the things today, and we'll probably get in some of these vans, show you some of the different options for layouts, what the pros and cons are, storage things you have to think of, cooking things you have to think of, and then even some of the nitty-gritty stuff like, okay, how much battery do I need, and how am I going to use this van, where are we planning to go? But we'll get in some of these vans and I'll show you around, and we'll start talking about some of that stuff. This is our Chevy Express van, and the Chevy Express vans are really cool. That's actually what ours is. I really like them because they're a full truck. You've got the truck frame, you've got all the towing capabilities, you got the big V8 motor, and with the Quigley conversions, you've got the true 4-wheel drive. But as we step into this one, it's got the sofa bed layout in it, and so we'll talk about some of the pros and cons of who that layout works best for. That's actually the one we've got because it's got a lot of seating, as you'll see. But let's step inside and we'll look at this van. Okay, we're inside the Chevy. So this is kind of a classic camper van layout. I've seen it called an EB50. I think that comes from Sportsmobile World when they used to do a lot of the old Ford Econoline vans. But you've seen this layout similar. I mean, obviously nicer, newer seats than some of the new conversions like this seat. But you've got the van, you've got a big galley, and then in the back you've got this, we call it a sofa bed. And this layout works really well because you have lots of storage, as you can see down the side. I mean, you've got these big areas here, and this is a very similar layout to what my personal van is. But we use these back ones as kind of closets, so we'll put our clothes and stuff in this area. But you've got lots of storage. I mean, we camp 6 of us, and we go camp for, we normally don't go for more than 4 or 5 days, but we can get all of our clothes for everybody in these back 2 closet areas, and even some stuff like bedding and some of that. as well. But then you've got a nice comfortable seat back here that's shaped. I mean, this is not your old flat sofa. Seat belts, everything. You're perfectly legal with kids running down the highway, feel safe. But then you get to camp and this thing flips and folds and makes a bed. And the way that we've designed ours is you've got this 2 seats here, and then you've got this big long pad down the side. Underneath the pad, you'll see some hidden storage, and that's where some of your stuff like your batteries is. And it's really cool how they figure out where to put all the stuff in these vans, because you've got a limited amount of space, but you're able to have a big battery bank. But what's neat is when you flip this seat down into a bed, the bed is not as wide as the seat now. The bed is the same height as this cushion. So you've got a bed that's from this wide all the way to the wall. And so you can sleep easily. Me and my wife and ours, we sleep down below. We have the bottom bed. And then what's awesome with the pop top vans that we stock is this whole upper area in this Chevy van is literally can be made into one big bed. So we've got all 4 kids pile up there. And we've also used it like when we're camping. We've been camping before and it starts raining really hard. And okay, go back to the camper. We're not wanting to be outside and get soaked. Well, that bed's big enough and the roof raises up tall enough. I'm about 6 feet tall. I can get up there, sit Indian style, sit however I want, and I've got plenty of headroom. And we play cards. It's like the living room if we're hunkered down in the van and having to spend a few hours and play cards, play board games, do that kind of stuff. We just go up top, so it's kind of a bonus room as well. But these panels also in the Chevy, what we'll do all the way back to that back one, these are all movable, removable. And so what we'll do traveling is we'll stack these on top of each other, and that gives you a lot. Like my wife, she's about 5'5". She can stand up next to the galley and not hit her head. I still have to squat a little bit, but it gives you a whole lot more headroom. Okay, so here I am standing up. This is with the panels removed. And like I said, you can remove the panels all the way to the back. And the Chevy van, you can actually stack them because this top is a little taller than some of the other vans. And so you can move them and stack them. We stack at least this one, and sometimes even that one will stack. But if you stack this one, you can see at 6 feet, I can't stand all the way up, but I mean, I just barely have to bend my knees. I'm pretty comfortable. And if you move this one, I've got the whole galley area, so getting ready in the morning, any of that stuff, I've got this whole space that I'm not having to, because the difference of this versus if I got the panel, this is not a comfortable long period of time stance. So it is nice that they make it where you can move these panels. But the Chevy van, you cannot get the higher roof, so this is the roof height you get. Thankfully with the pop top and the panel removed, it's doable, but there is definitely some pros to having like a mid-roof Ford. That's kind of the lowest height van that at 6 foot I can completely stand up. And then if you get into the high roof vans, you got tons of roof height. Yes, I really like this layout because you've got the good seating, it lays down into a nice bed, and then behind the seat, you have a ton of space still that we'll keep like our camp kitchen. We'll take our solo stove at times. We've got backpacks, all the gear, you just pile it behind the back seat. And so you still got all that storage as well. I'd like to talk about the galley too, because that's one of the perks of this floor plan as well, is you've got a really big galley with lots of drawers, lots of cabinet space. You've got plenty of room for a big fridge. That's the same fridge we've got in ours. And I mean, we seldom take a cooler on top of the fridge because we can fit all the food and that kind of stuff that we know has to stay cold we keep in the fridge. And then drink wise, we do everything from, oh, we've got one of those, they hold 5 gallons of water and they filter the water as it comes out. I cannot think of the brand of it, but we can look that up for y'all and put it in the video. But it's really handy. And the other thing we've got mounted on the back of ours, the big, and this van is set up for it as well. On the back, we've got one of the big aluminum storage boxes, and that's where you would keep more of like the stuff that's dirty and that you don't want inside the van. And it blows my mind how much stuff you can fit in one of those big aluminum boxes. And then the boxes are set up where you can actually put a jerry can holder on it, and that's where we'll carry the extra drinking water and that kind of stuff if we're going off grid for several days. But I mean, these galleys, you've got plenty of countertop space. You've got a nice sink. We do them with the induction burner, and we like the induction burner because it keeps the system all electric. You don't have to worry about having a propane system built into the van just for a cooktop essentially, because the heater in these is running all off of it's pulling the fuel out of the fuel tank of the vehicle. So it's all tied in. Those are very, very efficient. Don't use hardly any fuel. But that induction cooktop keeps it all electric, but it also keeps the countertop nice and flat. So if you're doing meal prep and stuff. And I will be the first to say, we do most of our cooking outside. We have a camp kitchen. We use a partner stove that folds up so it doesn't take up much room in the van. And we set up kind of the cooking outside under the awning. And one, you're outside and that's where you want to be if you're camping. Two, if I'm cooking burgers or something that's smoky, I don't get all the smoke in the van. So, but these galleys are completely adequate to cook if you needed to cook inside the van, and they're laid out very nice for meal prep. Even the countertop space is so valuable in a van for brushing your teeth in the morning, storing everyone's got their little bag with their toothbrush and their razors and any of the stuff that my wife will have laid out, and she's very organized. And that's one of the things I would stress as you're kicking around your van is, I mean, storage there's only so much in a van, but what's cool, and we sell some cool products in the store. I mean, Step 22 makes some really cool stuff. Front Runner makes some cool stuff, but they design things that keep you organized in small spaces. And so everything has its spot, and it's designed to roll up or fold up where it takes up very little space. And so you have to think through, like, how many people am I going to be taking on a regular basis? Everybody kind of has to have their spot to keep their stuff. Everything needs to have a home to stay organized. And then you start finding the stuff that's designed for the overland camping, for the van camping, that it does the same job as a big item, but it packs up a lot smaller. Therefore, you can fit more of it in these cabinet spaces that you have in these vans. But I want to go show you some different layouts because, like I said, I know this one very well because I have spent lots of nights camping in a van very similar to this. But we have some other different options for people that may value more. I want a table, a space to eat inside the van, because that is one thing this van doesn't really have. These vans, if you're eating inside the van, we've done it, but everyone's sitting somewhere like this and you've got your plate in your lap because there's not really a table for everyone to gather around. But there are layouts that are designed for that. There's layouts that are designed for, I may not need as much seating space, but I want more storage space to take more gear with me. Well, we've got platform bed layouts that are designed that way. So we'll go look at one of our Ford vans next that's laid out with that dinette and show you some of the pros and cons of that layout. So this is the Ford mid-roof van. It's in stock, and this one's got the dinette area I was talking about. So if someone that's needing more of that space where, hey, we can sit we've got a table to play cards at, eat at, inside the van. This is that layout. Okay, so we're inside the Ford. This is a mid-roof Transit, and this has more of the dinette layout in the back. And one of the things is you'll notice immediately is, okay, we've got a dinette in the back, but where do the people sit in this thing? Because we're designing our vans with the pop tops where you can always sleep more people and seat more people than 2 people, because a lot of the Class B camper van stuff in the industry, that's how it's designed. It's designed for a driver and a passenger up front, and they got a bed in the back, but it's a 2-people rig. Well, we like to go camping with friends and family, so we want to be able to take more people. So the seating in this one, you've got the extra seats are in front of the galley, so they're right directly behind the driver and passenger. Still forward facing with the good seat belts, so no safety concerns there. But that makes it, and the beauty of this van too, as you can see, is this is a mid-roof. And like I said, I'm about 6 feet tall, and I can just stand up even with the hat on, and I'm just barely grazing it. So you can stand up in this one versus the Chevy van. This layout, if it was somebody that it's like, man, we're gonna probably spend more time in our van while we're camping. We're still obviously going camping to be outside and stuff, but there's times it's hot outside in Texas, or it's really cold. We go snow skiing in our van a lot, and we need to be able to hang out in the van more. This is a great layout for that, because you've got this table with seating all the way around it. It looks like the table's really low, but that's because the cushions are squishy. So you can sit all the way around it. It's the right height for playing games, for eating at. But this table drops down and converts this whole back area into a bed as well. So you've got a 2-person bed down here, and then once again you have the huge pop top bed, bonus room, all that stuff up top that you can sleep. If it's kids, you can sleep way more than people up there, but 2 adults easily, and kids at least 3. And this one is set up, actually has a cool little feature, because the Chevy van with that sofa layout, there's nowhere really to build in a porta potty. And so this one, this is our cool little, you want to show them how that works? So you got your little hidden porta potty. Nothing fancy, but gets the job done for camping. No one really likes staring at a toilet all the time, so this is a fun spot to hide the toilet. And I mean, talking about toilets and camper vans and overlanding, backcountry camping, adventure camping, whatever you want to call it, my thoughts on, and this is my thoughts, this is from my experience, but my thoughts on a toilet, that's kind of, we have one in our van, even though it's not built in. We keep it between the front 2 seats when we're traveling. Ours is actually one of the wrap-on toilets. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's the ones that's a dry flush, that it actually is the plastic bag, and then you find a trash can and you throw it away. It's kind of weird the first time, but we like it because there's no smell, none of that. And you could put something like that in here, so you can kind of pick and choose. They come with the standard porta potty, but if you wanted a wrap on or something like that, it would fit in the same space. But ours is used, I mean, if you're camping way back in the middle of nowhere where no one else is around, which is what we like to do a lot of times, then a lot of times we will choose to use the restroom outside the camper to keep all of that outside the camper. And then if we're camping in a campground, we a lot of times will use the camp showers, camp bathrooms, that kind of stuff. It's nice to have for like the emergency situations. Ours doesn't get used a ton, but it is nice to have. Now there's some people that, and we've got those options too, and we will show you one next in another van, but there's some people that want a full bathroom shower area in the van, and I get that, and everyone's different, but we grew up camping out in the woods, hunting, fishing, all that stuff. So even my wife and my daughter, if you have to go find a tree and do your business, but keep it outside of the van as much as possible. That's how we do it. But these do have, this one's nice because it's hidden, it's out of sight. Then underneath where I'm sitting, this is another where how they creatively cram everything in these vans. But this van in particular has a big battery system. So it's got 600 amp hours worth of battery in it. And what that, and you don't have to get that. Like you may, as you're deciding on your van, you may decide, look, I don't need, because batteries are expensive. The lithium batteries, the 12 volt power systems, all of that stuff is where some of the costs can really start adding up. But this big battery bank, these have a 12 volt AC on them, and we're in Texas, so we get some heat. It's very hot right now. And that enables you, if you're off grid, you can turn that AC on. Hey, we're going to bed, I want to cool it off a little bit and get the temperature down. You can actually run that AC off the battery for an extended period of time. Whereas if you did not have that big battery bank, you turn that AC on, and these are very efficient AC systems being 12 volt, but you would still, it would be just a few hours that you'd be able to run it. So that's decisions you have to make. Okay, but all of that, I've got battery systems, I've got the water heater systems, all of that is stored in these storage compartments. There's still some, you could cram some stuff like camp chairs, rumple blankets, that kind of stuff. You could still get some of that stuff in there around it, but there is stuff in the storage because this one's got the big batteries and some of that take up some space. So one of the things you do give up inside in this layout, like, man, yeah, we've got all the room in the world to eat and hang out back here, but versus that Chevy that we looked at before that had all that storage down this wall, you're going to give up some interior storage with this layout. Now you've still got the full galley, you've got the induction cooktop, the sink, the same big fridge, you've got some storage cabinets under the sink, but you do give up some drawers, you give up that big closet. But on this Ford, what we've done is, you can kind of see it through the window. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the video, but this has a system mounted on the back where instead of where I was talking about how much stuff you can put in one of those aluminum boxes, this one's got the ability to mount not just one of those boxes, but you could actually mount 2 of those boxes. So you could keep you can still get it to camp with you, just more of your storage is going to be on the outside of the van versus the inside of the van. But yeah, this is a really, I mean, if it's someone, like I said, if you're in those extreme temperatures, extreme heat, extreme cold, you're knowing I'm going to be spending some more time in the van, this is a great layout for, want to be able to have a comfortable space to eat, play, hang out in the van. You've got more of that in this layout versus that sofa bed. And then the last van that we're going to show you, it's a big van. It's a Mercedes, it's a 170 high roof, so that's the big long Mercedes with the tallest roof. But with that big van, you've got a big interior that you can put a lot of stuff in. It is set up with the platform bed, so it's got lots of room to take stuff, and then it actually has the bathroom as well. So we'll move to that van and show you that one. And then those are going to really be probably the 3 most popular type layouts. You're either going to have a sofa bed in the back, you're going to have a dinette area like this, or you're going to have the platform bed. And we try and keep all of those in stock, knowing those are the most popular floor plans, and they fit different needs and have different pros and cons. But we'll move to that Mercedes now and show you that last platform bed layout. Okay, now we're at the Mercedes, and like I said, this is a 170 Mercedes high roof. So this is about the biggest, I think it is the biggest van chassis currently on the market as far as how much interior space you have to work with. So let's take a look inside this one. Okay, we're inside the Mercedes. So as you can see, got plenty of room even with the hat on. I think you could be, I mean, 6'3", 6'4" in this van and not having to squat at all. And so tons of roof height. We've still got the pop top with the big bed up top, but we've got a lot of room to work with. We've done, this one is got the platform bed layout, but we've still got, because we want to go with friends and family, so we've still got our extra seating. So you got your driver and passenger, but our co-pilot seats are up front here behind the driver and passenger. This one's got 2. You can make it 3 if you needed an extra seat in here easily. And then from there, this is the unique thing that we've done with this bigger floor space to work with, but this one has the built-in shower area. So you have a full shower. You're not using the camp showers. You're not using, because like, and I didn't talk about that, like the Chevy, the Ford, they're all gonna have a shower, but it is at the back of the van. So you open up the back doors, you've got the shower spigot, you've got the hose like this, but you're showering outside the van. This one, you've got someone in your crew that, nope, I do not want to use camp showers. I do not want to shower outside. This one, you've got that comfort and convenience of having a full shower inside the van. And then we've also got a porta potty. And what a lot of people do is they'll keep the porta potty in there as well. And so you have your private area if you need to use the restroom. Obvious advantages to having the shower in the van. You've got your own private bathroom area. The negative to having the shower in the van is that took 6+ feet of height and however wide that is of space that could be used for other things. So that's where you have to prioritize what is most important to me when I am picking out the layout of my van. Do I value this shower enough? Which there's a lot of people that do, but do I value that enough that I want to give up that storage space, that cabinet space, other things you could use this area for? Now, as you'll see, and one of the reasons why if you want to shower, a 170 Sprinter is a great option. This one has the shower. It still seats 4 people, sleeps 4 people easily. Like I said, the bed up top, you can sleep more than 4 if you 2 kids if you need to sleep kids up top. But because it's such a big floor plan and a big van, it still has a ton of storage space. I mean, the next thing, you've got this galley, and I would say this galley is as big as what's in that Chevy van. And one of the pros of that Chevy layout with the sofa bed is you get a big galley with all the cabinets and storage underneath. This one, you've got that much real estate up top with your sink and your induction cooktop. But because you've got this shower on this side, they put the fridge over here. It fit because of depth. So you got the same size fridge here, but by not having the fridge underneath the galley, you've got tons of storage space. You've got cabinets, you've got drawers, and you've got more cabinets above the fridge, and you've got a cabinet below the fridge. This is a big van. This would be an awesome van for doing big, long excursions that you need to take a lot of stuff. Or if you're that person that I just like a few more comforts and conveniences when I go camping, whereas we have to be very organized and pick and choose what goes with us. This one, I think you could take it all. You can bring everything you could possibly dream of. Keep your van stocked up, ready to rock, where when you're ready to go, you're throwing food in the fridge, grabbing your clothes, putting them in their spot, and you're out of here. But this one, you could keep a lot of stuff in. You've got cabinets because of the extra height. You've got the ability to put cabinets up here. This one even has a microwave because you've got the space for a microwave. So this is a very, very nice, comfortable van, but it is still a very capable van because this is the Mercedes. This is the last year model. We snagged it that is a true four-wheel drive Mercedes, not an all-wheel drive. And this one's still got the 6-cylinder diesel that's just been proven to be such a great motor, longevity-wise. So you've got a true four-wheel drive van, diesel motor, very fuel efficient for how big this thing is. So you can still go where you can get way back in there. Now your size, you're a little longer, you're a little taller, so you got to make sure you're not scraping tree limbs and stuff. But it's set up to get way back in there. It's just going to be a more comfortable camping experience because it's so big. The bed layout on this one, another very popular option, but I'm going to jump up there. So this is what they call a platform bed. So it's the other two vans, you're converting the back bed. So one of them is a sofa where people are sleeping or sitting as you're traveling. You get to camp, you make it down into the bed. The dinette one, it's your sitting area with your table, all of that. You get ready to sleep, you make it down to bed. This one's a bed all the time. So some of that, I don't want to be moving the seat up and down. I don't want to be taking the dinette up and down. This one, simple, easy. It's a very large bed because it's side to side. I mean, I know I can sleep long ways very easily, and I'm pretty sure I could sleep sideways. So easy two-person bed. Probably could be two-person and a kid bed if you have that kid that wants to sleep closer to mom and dad, the younger kid. But big bed, and then underneath we've got what they call a garage, and this one's actually got, we may have to shoot it from the back, but this one's got a slide. So, because I mean, you're talking feet of depth here of storage underneath, and so reaching from the back, most people's arms aren't 6 feet long, so this one's got a slide built in, so you can keep all your gear underneath there and slide it out. But these ones with the garages, you'll see people that will put mountain bikes underneath, but you could fit hiking gear. I mean, you can take a lot of stuff in this van. So fishing, hunting, hiking, biking, you name it, you've got a built-in garage underneath this bed that you can take the toys and stuff with you. But big floor plan with on this 170, so you've got lots of room to work with. You've got the conveniences of a shower, you've got tons of cabinet space in here, and then you have this garage area underneath. So really, I would say the only negatives to like this floor plan with this platform bed is that you do give up. There's still not like where that dinette one, you've got the interior space to hang out. It's designed, okay, we don't want to be outside, we want to be in the van and having space to sit around the table, eat, be merry, all of those things. You don't have that eating space, that designated hangout space in here. You do have the pop top, and like I said, that's kind of how we use our pop top, is we'll go up there. But you give up having a table in here. But other than that, I mean, you've got the biggest bed down below, you've got a shower, you've got cabinet space, you just don't have a table, and because your van is just longer and a bigger footprint, there's definitely places you could get with like the Chevy versus this van just because of the sheer size of the van. Well, I hope I've been helpful today talking through some, I mean, like I said, these are 3 of the most popular layouts in camper vans, but it's a big decision. You've got to prioritize. I mean, money we know is not unlimited, and so there's certain things you got to weigh the cost of. You got to weigh the cost of how many people does it need to sleep? How much storage space do I need? What do I value the most with the storage space I've got? But I hope I've been helpful kind of explaining the pros and cons of some of these layouts. We're gonna have some more stuff coming up on the van, so stay tuned for next part of this series. And if you got any questions, you know where to find us. Go to our website, BTROutfitters.com, and you can reach out to Brody, Daniel, any of the team, and we'd be glad to help you.